long time ago, the Bodhisattva was born as a magnificent stag and was the leader of a herd of 1,000 deer. He had 2 sons, Lakana and Kala. Since he was getting old, he placed 500 deer under the care of each son. During harvest time, the crops began to grow, and the deer began to eat their fill. Farmers were angry that deer were eating all their crops, so they had the hunters set up spiked pits and other traps to kill the deer. Accordingly, when it was harvest season, the Bodhisattva gathered his sons and told them to take their respective herds into the mountains and not to come back until the harvest season was over. The path to the mountain was long and perilous. The old and sick deer stayed behind and hid, while the young deer followed their herd leaders to the mountain pastures. Even though his father had shown him many times, Kala never paid attention when his father would take him to the mountains as they were growing up. He decided he would just go when he felt like it. So he led his herd when the sun was at its highest. His reasoning was that traveling at night would be difficult, and he did not like anything difficult. The hunters, knowing the deer would take this path, were lying in wait. They patiently waited for all of Kala's herd to enter the forest. The hunters attacked and killed many of Kala's herd. The herd finally made it to the mountain, but with a great loss to their numbers. As for Lakana, he remembered what his father had said about hunters on the path. He had observed that when his father led the herd in the past, they would travel before dawn or very late at night. He figured that at those times the hunters would be asleep. Lakana also did not like to travel at night, since it was difficult, but he was more concerned with the outcome and the safety of his herd than his personal preferences. So, Lakana told his herd to wait for nightfall. Once the night was at its darkest, Lakana led his herd carefully and slowly along the path. He warned them not to make noise and not to go off the path. They arrived at the mountain without losing a single member of the herd. For the next few months, Lakana's herd and Kala's herd grazed and lived on the mountain. Then, at the end of the harvest season, it was time to return. Kala did not learn from his past mistakes. He chose to blame it on bad luck. On the trip back, he once again decided to travel when he felt like it. He led his diminished herd onto the path during the daylight hours. The hunters, also knowing the harvest season was over and that the deer would travel back, were hiding along the path. Once Kala's entire herd was in the forest, the hunters attacked. They managed to kill every last deer and even injured Kala. Kala was able to survive, and when he made it back to the meadow, he greeted his father in shame. Lakana reflected on what his father had shown him in the past. He decided to wait until nightfall to travel for the return trip. in the late hours of the night, Lakana led his herd slowly and silently while the hunters slept. Lakana arrived back at the meadow with his entire herd, safe and unharmed. When he greeted his father, he was given much praise. His father said,
"Those who are wise, patient, observant, and respectful will lead others to safety and success. Those who are not will lead others to danger and failure."
Kala eventually was reborn as Tevatata. Lakana was eventually reborn as Sariputta. And the wise old stag was eventually reborn as the Buddha.
What do you think the moral of this story is?
We hope you enjoyed the video. Click like if you did, and click subscribe if you want to see our uploads.